Hello, I'm Granville Emerson, and welcome to the Lidline Sports with my co-host, Seattle sports enthusiast Renault Bean, affectionately known as Pepe.
Hey, what be up?
What is up, my brother? The pure madness of March Madness is what's up. I hope that all of you all had a chance to catch the games last weekend, from the Sweet 16 all the way down to who's left for the Final Four. I mean, man, some spectacular games.
Spectacular. I mean, there were buzzer beaters, they're just crazy. But that's why this time of year is actually my favorite.
The Wisconsin-Florida game had to be the craziest game that I had seen in a while.
I never seen a buzzer beater like that.
Man, I mean, the guy is just fast.
Right.
I can't.
Chiozza.
Yeah, Chiozza is just, he's a little point guard for Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So I always teach kids, like, in the last few seconds, if you got 3 seconds on the clock, I'm like, okay, you got 3 dribbles. All right? If you got 2 seconds, you got 2 dribbles.
Mm-hmm.
If you got 4 seconds, you got 4 dribbles. Chiozza, is that how you say his name? Chiozza, that dude took 5 dribbles in less than 4 seconds. That dude.
And he had to launch it from beyond 3 and have some touch.
Yeah. He launched it like at practice here at Seattle Prep, where I coach. We practice half-court shots at the end of practice.
Okay.
Like everybody.
Right.
Including coaches.
Now,
I made one.
You can't go home until somebody makes one, right?
No. We just total them up at the end of the year, and whoever has the most.
Oh, okay. That's good.
It's good practice.
Yeah.
Situational deal. So he shot that like you shoot a half-court shot. Just kind of lunged into it from behind the three-point arc, which would normally be behind the half-court line, and nothing but net, man. It was like, and I was really wanting Wisconsin to win.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, because I didn't think Wisconsin was going to win. They were down,
right.
And 7 or 8 points, and then they launched a furious comeback, and I'm like, oh man, but you know the big mistake they made was they should have sent somebody underneath Chiozza,
mm-hmm.
and then somebody on top of Chiozza. You cannot let the point guard get a running start with the ball.
He was too fast. He couldn't.
It was too fast if you don't get your. So we talk about the phrase that we use: "Do your work early."
Okay.
So before the ref hands the dude the ball, get your butt down there and get in front of him.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So instead of after that, you're playing catch up, especially with a fast dude. You're just getting beat.
Yeah.
You ain't catching up.
And hope that he misses. You know what I mean? But he didn't.
No, that was such a great game. And the other great game was Kentucky and UCLA. I thought that no, not Kentucky, UCLA. Who did Kentucky play before they played UCLA to get
Arkansas.
to UCLA?
No, that was North Carolina. Man, I don't remember.
I don't know. See, you know what happened, folks? I have no teams in the Final Four, so I destroyed my bracket.
like a lot of you.
My bracket got round filed. And so I'm trying to go on my memory right now. Like, who did, it was a great game though. But Kentucky UCLA is actually the game I want to talk about. That's De'Aaron Fox's game.
Oh, yeah.
Where he totally outplayed Lavar Ball.
Yeah,
Lonzo Ball.
Right.
Lavar's been getting so much credit talking to dudes now. His name almost bigger than Lonzo.
I think he shot a shot over him.
Yeah, so he outplayed Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, big time. He was prepared. He wanted to do his thing. He stepped up to the challenge, for sure.
Yeah, he had 39 points in 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing a lot of work in that game. Lonzo Ball, projected number 1 pick.
Right.
And number 2 is Markelle Fultz, or was it the other way around?
No, the projections got Fultz right now, but who knows how that's going to end up come June.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the draft board, right? Because I think NBA Draft Net now has Justin Jackson from North Carolina as the number 1 pick.
Mm.
So I don't know. So it depends on that. Well, so we'll see.
And I like him too.
He's good.
Yeah.
He showed up big over the weekend.
He did.
So we'll get back to the NC2A tournament, but thus far it has been one of the better round of 60. What is it now? 8. You have to say 68 now because USC.
Because they're playing
almost every year a playing opponent beats somebody in the first round.
Yeah.
So you have to say the round of 68 now.
But once you saw USC in the playing game, I knew they were going to win.
Yeah, I mean they were good. They arguably could have went further than they did.
Right.
So shout out.
Oh yeah, they lost by 1. So.
Right. So shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on. Number one, my Raiders.
Vegas.
Yeah, for those you don't know, Seahawks are my squad. Don't jump on me like, why are you changing teams? But I lived in L.A. and when I was in L.A. it was the L.A. Raiders. Back in the NWA days, you remember that?
Oh yeah.
When NWA was rocking all the Raider gear, that's when the Raiders were in L.A.
90 degrees and you wearing starter jackets. All right.
It's fashion, bro. Fashion. Trying to make a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Boys from the hood up to no good. Anyway, Raiders have left Oakland again. Joked about it on the Facebook Lidline Sports page that the Raiders have been been tossed around. Raider fans have been tossed around more than J-Lo.
Hey, oh, never mind. I won't go there.
She's dating A-Rod now. she's been
really?
She's been with a lot of dudes. But so the Raiders have left Oakland for the second time, or leaving Oakland, headed to Sin City, Las Vegas. So there's much talk about that, about whether or not.
Is there a stadium in Vegas?
No, but they are building a stadium. Something like $2 billion.
Is the shovel? Is the ground been broken?
Ground has not been broken, so it's going to take 2 years for the stadium, for the Raiders to be able to move in there. So they're supposed to play in Oakland for the next 2 years.
Now, does that seem awkward to you?
That's heck awkward. That's like getting a divorce and then living with your ex for like 2 years. Right? That didn't make no sense. You might be able to stay a little while until you get your feet set out on the ground, and then somebody's gonna be saying you need to get up out of here. So we'll see how well that pans out for Raider fans and the lame duck status that they have in Oakland. The argument was made by the Oakland owner, Mark Davis, that the city didn't do enough for them. They came to them at the last minute with the plan. The Miami Dolphins owner, who was the only owner who was against the move to Las Vegas, people say because he didn't want Las Vegas to get the Super Bowl when it might be Miami's turn to get the Super Bowl, so he voted against it. It's a definite that a brand new stadium is getting a Super Bowl. It'll be in LA when they build that nice stadium there.
Yeah.
It'll be in Las Vegas when they build their stadium. And so Miami, you're going to have to get in where you fit in.
Right. They build a stadium.
The distraction. Pep, what do you think the distractions might be for players that come to town? You know how in the Super Bowl, when they had the Super Bowl and Eugene Robinson didn't know how to act and he went out to a strip club in Atlanta?
Yeah. Yeah, Atlanta ain't Vegas.
Atlanta ain't Vegas. So
Man.
will they be distracted?
Oh, definitely. How could you not be?
Well, because everybody's been to Vegas before.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? A bunch of times.
But so what? There are people that haven't, family, friends, whatnot, and come on, let's do this, let's do that. Oh.
Yeah. Are there any other pro franchises in Vegas already?
Well, they got a hockey. The NHL is supposed to be there.
Okay, so the teams that come there, they're not distracted, are they?
Well, they haven't played there yet. They haven't started yet.
They haven't started yet.
Right.
Okay.
So they're going to be a new expansion team.
Okay, so that will be next season?
Either next season or the season after next.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we'll have to find out.
So they're getting 2 major franchises here within the next couple of years, which is big for them.
Yeah, we'll have to find out what's going on.
So will the NBA look at them?
Well, there's talk about the NBA expanding, but it's talk right now. I heard Steve Ballmer talking about it this morning, and he said that there are no plans. The owners have not talked about expanding. So the league might have it on their mind, but the owners themselves have not.
So there's been no formal meetings, New York or anything?
No. The talk was about getting a team back in Seattle and how everybody in the league wants a team back to Seattle.
Yeah, except for Seattle.
Like everybody in the league that used to come to Seattle for the Sonics, whether it was East Coast teams once a year or West Coast teams twice a year, they all look forward to coming to Seattle.
Right.
But it's everybody but the Seattle City Council.
Right.
Well, everybody else but the Seattle City Council.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they're the ones standing in the way of the construction of our arena. And Ballmer talked about it being a chicken and egg scenario.
Well, it's ridiculous.
Where
they're trying to refurbish a 1962 relic in Key Arena, and it's ridiculous. You got Sacramento that you just came back from a couple of weeks ago. They have a state-of-the-art arena, and to even continue to talk about Key Arena is ridiculous to me. It's silly. They've already upgraded it one time.
Well, you know why they continue to talk about Key Arena.
Yeah, I do know why.
Why?
Money for the city.
The city owns it.
The city owns it.
Exactly. Exactly. So they're like, hold up.
They're not trying to give that up.
What about this deal right here? I think that, the wise thing to do and the best proposal I've heard is to build an arena for basketball and hockey in the Soto area where the Mariners play, Safeco Field, and where the Seahawks play at Quest, and then remodel CenturyLink.
Yeah.
It was Quest when I moved here.
Yes,
right?
It was.
All right. I can't keep up with the name, with the branding at CenturyLink. But Key Arena, they should redevelop that, remodel it, and make it a first-class music venue.
Right.
So they can bring all kinds of...
I'm all for that.
All kinds of acts to Seattle, because as far as metropolitan cities go, Seattle is lacking those two key things: a quality basketball arena and a quality concert venue.
Definitely.
Like, I really wanted to go see Babyface, who was at the Emerald Queen last weekend.
Okay.
I've never seen him before. I dig the dude's music.
Right.
And
that's a casino, folks, for those that not in the area. Emerald Queen Casino near Tacoma.
And by the way, old music legends don't die. They go to casinos.
Right. And do well.
And do well. So I wanted to see Babyface, but I refused to go to Emerald Queen because the acoustics, it's just a man-made metal tent where they try to put, and I'm just such a finicky music listener. Everything's got to be right.
Okay.
I had a hard time going to see Sade at Key Arena. However, it turned out to be the best concert I've ever been to.
Nice.
3 hours of Sade. Ooh-wee, man. She got down.
Yes.
So we would do well to do that, to work with AEG, who's has a proposal, one of the people that have submitted a request for proposal to the city of Seattle for the remodeling and renovation of Key Arena.
And that's what they do for the most, for a lot of what they do. That's they do a lot of the building, remodeling, whatnot.
I know they did the Staples Center in LA.
Right.
And
so they're top flight.
Yeah. And so it would be good to do that. It'd be good to do that just to also get the Final Four back here. Man, we got to get a Final Four back here. When we had the Kingdom, we had the Final Four back here.
Right.
When Georgetown won it.
I remember that.
George Thompson III fired this week.
John Thompson. Yes.
Oh, George Thompson. I know a George Thompson.
Well, I know George Thompson. He played in the ABA. But anyway.
He did?
I
know a George Thompson. Hey, what's up, George? If you listen, he's a financial advisor. It used to be mine.
Right.
That's the George Thompson I know.
Okay.
I met John Thompson, though, the third.
Okay.
Met him down at the Tarkanian Center in Las Vegas,
Vegas, baby.
way back. Huh?
I said Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby.
See, when you say Vegas, you got to throw in baby.
Hey, Vegas, baby. Raiders moving to Vegas, baby.
There you go. See, that's it.
The Raider fans are happy in Los Angeles because they're going to be driving to L.A.
Vegas.
To Vegas. Hopefully, you're like, dang, I'm correcting this dude a lot today. That's my correct checker over there. Some folks need a fact checker. Need a correct checker over there. To Las Vegas. I guess they're at least talking about building a bullet train from Los Angeles to Las Vegas.
How long would that take? 2 hours?
A bullet train? Probably a half hour.
Oh, that fast? How long is it to drive there? I don't even know.
So, if I'm driving, it's 3.5 hours.
Oh,
it's about a 4-hour drive.
Oh, wow.
It's about a 4-hour drive. If there's a bullet train, I would imagine the bullet train would be like an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how fast they go, but I've never been on one. They got them in Japan. They go fast.
Right.
That's why they call them the bullet train.
Yes.
And they ain't making no stops either. It's like, phew. So, is it amazing, though, that you don't hear about the bullet train crashing?
Sure don't.
Right? But we got more crashes on these locomotives that we still operating in the United States. We have the worst train transportation system almost in the world. It's archaic.
Yeah, I believe it.
Compared to the rest of the world. But John Thompson, the third, fired at Georgetown. The John Thompson era is officially ended.
Yes.
I don't know if there's John Thompson the fourth to come along to try to get a job. But he was a good dude. He just couldn't bring Georgetown back to the level. I think they made it to the Final Four like 3 or 4 times, though.
Definitely.
Did not win. So much respect to you, John Thompson III. Hope you get a job somewhere. I'm sure you will. Just won't be the same not having John Thompson III at Georgetown.
Right. Or a Thompson, you know.
Yeah, or a Thompson.
Yeah. It's.
So, LeVar Ball, you were telling me.
He's at it again, isn't
he? He is just overtime on his 15 minutes of fame. You know, I thought after UCLA lost, we would go away quietly, at least until the NBA draft. But he's still doing shows and now bringing his kids on the show with them. And
right.
I heard Lonzo made some outlandish statement now.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball stated that he's a better player than Markelle Fultz of the University of Washington, who's projected to be the #1 pick in this upcoming NBA draft in June. So he's making his case to he's #1, not Fultz.
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts?
Well, it depends on what the team needs and who's going to have that #1 or #2 spot. He said that he was a better leader than Fultz. So, well, I mean, the record sure proves that in a sense. I'm not going to agree or disagree, but he had much more success record-wise, to say that. But talent-wise, Fultz is more explosive offensively. He's pretty good as far as assists-wise, but Lonzo Ball just makes everyone better. That's the difference. He makes everybody better, and his passes are Jason Kidd-like. They're pinpoint perfect. His jump shot is better than Kidd's it was, and it can only improve. He does have some mechanical issues on that shot.
Not going to change.
Yeah, that's true. But that I was just saying, he's got mechanical issues with that shot that I don't care for. Looks like Kevin Martin, who actually had a successful career. So,
That's why I said it's not going to change. It is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Argument can be made that Markelle Fultz, the group of dudes he played with, were far less talented than Lonzo Ball's group of dudes.
No question.
Far less talented. So it's hard to say that Lonzo Ball actually made them better. They were just better. And that Markelle Fultz didn't make his dudes better. They didn't win.
Well, people like to play this game. Put Fultz on UCLA, put Ball on Washington. What happens?
Who knows? UCLA may go further.
Mm-hmm.
They may go further.
Does Washington go 9-22?
They might.
Mm.
Because they're going to have less scoring. And if the defense stays the same, he's not going to come in there and improve their defense.
Okay.
Do you think?
Mm.
Nah.
Mm-mm.
He's not. No, he's not going to come in and improve their defense. So, and scoring wasn't their problem.
Definitely was not.
So, I think if Lonzo Ball comes to the University of Washington, the team they had last year, you got the same issue. And so you take Fultz and you put him on UCLA's team, and especially against Kentucky, who they lost to in the Sweet 16, Elite Eight. You put him on the squad, maybe they don't lose because now he's creating his own shot.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And so...
And he's probably, honestly, he's more explosive than De'Aaron Fox. Fox had a phenomenal game, but I think that had a lot to do with Lonzo Ball, to be honest. His motivation, the talk always on Lonzo Ball, and he felt that, hey, I'm there too. And he wanted to prove that. So,
did Papa Lavar Ball handicap UCLA?
That's a good question. And you know what? I'm going to say, yeah, he did.
So, up until that point, he had not had any effect on the play of Lonzo Ball.
Right.
Lonzo Ball is still balled out amidst all of the talk.
But he looked listless Friday. He didn't look like the same Lonzo Ball that he played, like, for instance, against Oregon or against Arizona. He didn't look the same, and I'm talking about in Pac-12 play.
I felt like he didn't have the energy that he had before, and a lot of it, to me, was attributed to the fact that they were losing, and the fact that De'Aaron Fox was having such a great game.
Yeah, he's putting it on him.
And so I thought that he was caught between, should I, go mano-a-mano, or should I be the same guy? And I thought he did a good job of distributing the ball.
He did.
But
it wasn't enough.
It wasn't
for that
enough.
game. He probably needed to be a little bit more assertive offensively.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
If you have a Markelle Fultz, he is being more assertive offensively.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
That's his makeup.
Yeah.
That's his game.
So it very well could be that Markelle Fultz might have had or shot in the 30s.
Yeah, I would imagine he would have.
In that game?
Yeah.
And him and Fox would have been going at it.
Toe-to-toe.
Toe-to-toe. And so, to me, maybe UCLA wins that game. Maybe they go on. Maybe they go on to the Final Four. Maybe they go on to win the championship. But we'll never know. That's just fodder. Give me your top 3 draft picks.
I do like Justin Jackson, Ball, and Fultz. Fox is, right there.
Yep. So.
And the kid from Kansas, Joshua Jackson, is good too.
He's good. And Dennis Smith from North Carolina State. They weren't in the tournaments. You didn't see him, but he's going to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
I like De'Aaron Fox. I just like he's so fast. And in the NBA, speed kills. They compared him to John Wall.
Mm-hmm.
He just got a lot of game. He had a bad game against North Carolina.
Right.
But here's my thing, and I was telling people this during the game. The reason why Kentucky lost in North Carolina is because he got 2 fouls early in the game.
Yeah.
And they had to sit him out the whole first half.
Yeah.
That's really the reason why they lost.
Yeah.
They had to play catch up to get back in the game. Oh, 2 spectacular shots by Monk.
Oh. Listen, that's the Iceman cometh.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at him, he reminds me so much of George Gervin.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree. You posted that on Facebook,
right.
And I totally concur with that.
Oh, man.
He does remind you of George Gervin. He's got that same physique.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, the shot doesn't look the same, but it's just as effective.
Just as effective.
And if he has a finger roll, watch out.
What about this kid Devin Booker for the Phoenix Suns throwing in 70 points? Some people say it wasn't legit 70 points though.
Well, I don't know how you score 70 points in an NBA game and not be legit. I mean,
Well,
I
thought they were calling timeout and
doing
all kind of things.
I got that.
to get him 70.
My point is, I was thinking, well, if you're in the NBA and you get 40 plus, that's saying something. I was thinking 30 at first, but then I remembered Joakim Noah, who's a terrible offensive player.
Yeah.
He scored 30 points in a game
right.
at one time. On December 7th, 2012, he got 30 and 23 against the Pistons. So I'm like, nah, 30 is not. I'll say if you get 40 plus, you're doing something. Regardless of how it was done, you're doing some damage. He scored 51 in the second half. Yeah. But they lost the game.
Yeah. and then posted on Twitter a picture of them celebrating their 70 points in the locker room. No,
yeah.
That's some new era stuff right there where you celebrating after a loss. Yeah. Who cares if you scored 70? You still got the L.
And lost by 10.
They were like down by 20 most of the game. So that's why I said it's a little tainted to me. I mean, folks are so enamored with offense now. That's why basketball to me is deteriorating. That's actually what I love about South Carolina and why South Carolina is in the Final Four. They play defense.
Yes.
Right? They play defense. And these dudes in the NBA, they ain't really playing no D. I'm like, man, are you kidding me? Like the NBA games I went to go watch down in Sacramento, I'm like, ain't nobody really playing no D.
No.
You just letting dudes score and getting the ball back out and going down and scoring. I'm like you watch an NBA game, like, see who gets 3 stops in a row.
I mean, Kawhi Leonard, he works hard on D. He's an excellent defensive player.
Oh, absolutely.
And I guess DeAndre Jordan is, that's probably why he made the All-Star game, because of his defense, because he should not make it.
He's a great shot blocker.
Right, and he sure isn't making it on offensive ability. So, there are a few players out there that can play D, but for the most part, I agree totally with you. The NBA and defense is like, it's lacking.
Moving on to the NFL. Colin Kaepernick, is he going to get picked up?
That's, I'm going to be honest, this subject really, really bothers me.
Well, I don't know if you're ready to disclose this or not, but you are a military veteran, and there are a lot of military veterans that are with Kaepernick, and there are some that are against Kaepernick, because one of the things that happened during his protest was the narrative got changed from him protesting the unlawful and wicked killings of innocent black people by the police to him disrespecting the military for not standing during the national anthem. Your thoughts?
My thoughts. I don't have any problem with Colin Kaepernick not standing or his protest, because I understand where his mindset was as far as why his protest was done. The problem with all that is the fact that his not standing became more of an issue than what he was not standing for, and I have a problem with that. I have a problem with people saying that he's disrespecting the flag. Well, you know what? I remember in 1976 in Boston, Massachusetts, downtown Federal Courthouse, a black man in a 3-piece suit was being held down by white men, and another white man with a flagpole with a flag on it was using it as a weapon against him. Now where's the outrage in that? That's total disrespect.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. And do I believe that Colin Kaepernick is being blackballed? I most certainly do. And it's evident by one signing, and that's the signing of Mark Sanchez of the Chicago Bears, who has to be one of the worst quarterbacks ever. If he can get a job, I mean, really, are you serious? If that doesn't tell you that there is an issue and there's a blackball of Colin Kaepernick, then I'm sorry, you're just blind to the fact, or you just flat out racist.
Colin Kaepernick was ranked last season coming off an injury. That's what a lot of folks don't understand. They say, oh, Colin Kaepernick can't play anymore. He was coming off an injury. Most people who come off injuries, it takes you at least a year, a serious injury, where that has required surgery on the shoulder. Mm-hmm. It takes you at least a year to get back into the type of condition you were before the injury. So he was ranked 29, didn't start the whole season. They have Jared Goff rated behind him at 30. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's another dude. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been stealing. Folk, I'm telling you, this man has been stealing. He signed a lucrative contract after one good year with the Buffalo Bills. Then went to the Jets, had good year, signed another lucrative contract. And on both those contracts, the very next year, he stunk like hot garbage on a sweltering New York City day. That dude is bad. So,
but he's better than Mark Sanchez. Oh, man.
Well, Mark Sanchez is bad, for sure.
Oof.
And so is the guy in front of him. The guy in front of him starting for the Chicago Bears.
Mike Glennon?
Is it Mike Glennon?
Now. Because Cutler's gone.
I thought it was Matt Barkley. Oh, they signed Mike Glennon.
Yes.
Mike Glennon, too. Who is that?
Thank you.
Who is he? Who is Matt Barkley? Brock Osweiler, all these dudes.
Okay.
It's an absolute joke that Colin Kaepernick is on the street. I fully expect for somebody to sign Colin Kaepernick.
Right.
I fully expect for them to not do
the man
like
led
that.
his team to championship games and the Super Bowl appearance, and in a game he probably should have won.
Yeah, that was the
blackout.
The blackout game, the electric grid failure. Right? Yes. To let Baltimore go in the locker room and let that vaunted defense rest. Right? That was the difference in that game.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen anything like that before. Now this was funny to me. There's this guy, I don't know if you've seen this. Cam can't get a job, right?
Right.
But this dude, Brazilian goalie Bruno Fernandes de Souza,
yes,
murdered his ex-girlfriend and fed her to dogs. Just signed a 2-year contract with a Brazilian soccer team.
Atrocious.
Then when the people of Brazil protested, this dude went on TV and said, folk need to get past his past. They need to move on. Y'all need to move on past me killing my wife and cutting her up and feeding her to the dogs. What in the entire heck?
That's something. Last I checked, Colin Kaepernick didn't kill anyone.
Exactly.
Didn't murder any animals.
And committed no crime.
Didn't have a DUI. Has been exemplary off the field as far as I can tell. But he can't get a job.
Cannot get a job. Wow, there's a lot going on out there, folks. A lot going on. Man, I can't believe that whole story is crazy to me. His ex-wife and his new girlfriend and him, all 3 of them went to jail for conspiring to kill one of his ex-girlfriends. That's that. And the dude is out. How do you get out?
How indeed?
I'm like, what in the world? I mean, this dude's still in jail for selling a dime bag of marijuana. How's he out of jail?
And signing the contract.
Exactly. Man, that's too much for me. Whew, let's go back to the Final Four. South Carolina versus Gonzaga and Oregon versus North Carolina. It's the Pacific Northwest versus the Carolinas. Who you liking that, Pep?
Wow. I'm going to go with Gonzaga because they really impressed me against a very strong Xavier team that was seeded 11th, which was wow. But I understand because their record helped in that. But that Gonzaga really they picked the best time to play their best game. That's for sure. So I'm gonna roll with them, even though South Carolina. Listen, any team in this Final Four can win, no question. You don't get this far and not be able to do it. But I'm gonna roll with Gonzaga. They're 36-1, and they seem to be playing at their best right now. They're peaking. So I'm gonna go with them.
So you got Gonzaga over South Carolina, right? I'm going to go with South Carolina for this reason. I think South Carolina is who you wanted Michigan to be.
Right.
Your sleeper that's still awake. They're living on house money right now. They have a great coach. He's a much maligned coach. They said that he didn't run a good program when he was at Kansas State. There's been much talk about Frank Martin, about his passion, and you'll see him on the sidelines looking crazy, yelling at players and doing all that kind of demonstrative stuff on the sidelines. But he is a great motivator. His kids love playing for him, and he has talent on his roster. He may arguably have the best player in the tournament in Sindarius Thornwell.
That guy's a load.
That dude will be in the NBA.
Yeah.
He will be a top pick.
Yeah.
Sindarius Thornwell can flat out play basketball.
Yes. He can score.
He can
inside,
rebound.
outside. He can do it all.
He can do it all. He can do it all.
And South Carolina guard P.J. Dozier.
DJ.
Okay. Well, anyway. Mr. Dozier, he's a steady guy. He's not too high. He's not too low. He does things the right way. He's not flashy, but he gets it done, and he can play some D. I like him.
Yeah, I like him too. I mean, he plays D. Their whole squad plays D. I think Gonzaga has been so fortunate. Everything has lined up for them. You're correct. It is P.J. Dozier. I'm thinking DJ Fenner.
Maybe.
Every time
there was a DJ Dozier for Penn State running back.
Oh, there we go. There we go. And actually, my mind thought about that. I'm like, wasn't there a DJ Dozier that played football? Yeah, Penn State running back. And then there's DJ Fenner, my guy from the University of Nevada. So every time I heard P.J. Dozier, my mind processed DJ Dozier, but it is P.J. Dozier. And Gonzaga, everything shaped up for them. I thought that after they got through, and I see this happening a lot as a basketball coach with teams. Once you play a team that is tough defensively, like really, really tough defensively, and you survive that team and advance to the next game, if that next team is not on you like that other team, offensively, you feel comfortable.
Right.
And that's what Gonzaga looked like. They were just comfortable. And then I got to say that Xavier's game plan was not a good game plan. Their game plan was to double team Gonzaga's big dude.
Right.
And Karnowski. And close out on their shooters. Because they didn't believe that their shooters could shoot three-pointers at a high enough clip that it would offset the 2 points that Karnowski would get in the paint. Okay? So they left shooters open all over the floor. And coming off a game like they did against Xavier, where it was hard.
You mean West Virginia?
West Virginia. You're right. This is some kind of day, isn't it?
It is.
And against West Virginia, those shots seemed easy.
Right.
Those shots seemed easy then, and you can tell it was easy. And then they got confidence, and so West Virginia did not make the halftime adjustment that they needed to make.
No, you mean Xavier didn't. They
I'm
played.
I'm all confused.
No, it's okay. I mentioned West Virginia only because they were playing that tough D on Gonzaga. So when they played Xavier, is what you were saying is they felt comfortable then.
Yes.
When they got to Xavier. So
are y'all with me out there?
follow along.
Follow along. Let me see if I can connect the dots. West Virginia, probably the toughest defensive team in the country.
Huggins.
Huggy Bear. We talked about this last week, how they press and trap all over the floor, full court, three-quarter court, and half court. Gonzaga survived that game. If you watch that game was not a beauty contest.
No.
It was a knockdown, drag-out.
UGLY.
Ugly game, defensive game. Beautiful game if you love defense. And so once they survived that game and got to Xavier, then Xavier's defense and the defensive strategy that they employed was right in line with Gonzaga's offense in terms of them being able to knock down three-point shots at a high clip. And then also, too, in the second half, get the ball into Kronowski and then play inside out.
Right. And Karnowski only had 5 points.
Right. Well, he was passing.
Right.
He was dropping dimes. You see the one no-look pass that he gave to dude?
Yeah.
Kronowski was dropping dimes.
Even that beard.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go with South Carolina.
Okay.
I believe they're on a mission. I believe that Gonzaga played their best game. I believe that their whole emphasis was to get to the Final Four, get past the Elite Eight.
That monkey off their back.
Yeah. If I call it the Great Eight, that's because that's what it used to be called before everything is elite now. It was called the Great Eight.
Yeah, I remember that.
And this year, it lived up to that name, the Great Eight.
Yeah.
All of those games were great games.
They were.
Some of the Sweet 16 games, not so much. But all of the Great Eight games, Elite Eight games, were good. Nigel Goss-Williams. We talked about him before. Left the University of Washington.
Yes.
Sat out a year. Looking real smart right now.
Well, he's a real smart kid. We've already been through that. The guy he got recruited by Ivy League schools, so the guy's got, he's no dummy.
Yeah. I like his game. I'm really loving the floor generals that I see on these teams in the Final Four.
Yeah, they're good.
And how they run their teams and keep their teams in the tempo that they want to play in. North Carolina, Oregon.
Oregon just played and beat the overall number 1 seed. And it's not so much how they beat them and how much they beat them, but you have to look at where they beat them. They beat Kansas in Kansas City. Kansas had a home game. That thing was set up for them to get to the Final Four. And Oregon said, we're not having that. Now, am I saying that because they did that, they're going to beat North Carolina? No, I'm not going to say that, because I do believe that North Carolina is going to beat Oregon. I think Oregon is going to come off a high of beating Kansas and come down to earth a little bit. And so I think North Carolina is going to take them. But do not underestimate Oregon by any stretch.
I think that I give the national championship to North Carolina. I think they're going to get past Oregon. I think that they, too, are on a mission.
Redemption.
From last season. Losing at the buzzer to Villanova.
Right.
And so they're hungry to win it. Kind of like the Cleveland Cavaliers were last year in the NBA. Hungry to win it. Had lost the year before.
Right.
Going back to win it. Kind of like when we had our championship celebration. Lost the year before. Seattle Sonics to the Washington Bullets.
Oh, yeah.
Went
Game
back,
7.
Went back and won it the next year.
Right.
So I think North Carolina is going to do that. The key to that particular game, I think, is going to be, this is just my assessment, is how well Oregon is able to defend Joel Berry, point guard for North Carolina.
Yes.
Oregon's point guard, freshman, Peyton, I can't think of what that kid's last name is. I think it's Purvier. I don't know. Let me stop messing up his name. But he's a freshman, and I should know his name because I've coached against him twice when he was at West Lynn High School in Oregon. And he is a very good point guard. He's just, I don't think he's on the level of Joel Berry and Peyton Pritchard. He's not on the level of Joel Berry. And if he steps up his game and plays like he can play,
right,
Oregon might win.
Oregon has athletic guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they are, they're tough. And they're peaking at the right time, just like I said Gonzaga was.
Dylan Brooks may be the most passionate dude you'll see play college basketball. He plays with so much energy and so much passion that it is infectious. And
Tyler Ennis.
Or,
Dorsey.
Tyler Dorsey.
Dorsey.
Yeah. Tyler Dorsey. Tyler Dorsey shooting like he's Fred Brown. He's just pulling up on people. Isn't he? He's just pulling up. I'm like, this dude, I ain't seen nobody pulling up on people like that since downtown Freddie Brown. That's who he reminds me of, man. He don't look like him. But
no.
his game looks like his, though.
Yes.
And then Bell last week was out there looking like a young Bill Russell blocking shots. He had 8 block shots.
Can you imagine if they had Chris Boucher?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be something. But I also think that they're playing and making up for the loss of Chris Boucher. And so I still like North Carolina. I like Justin Jackson. Other than Sindarius Thornwell, to me, he might be the best player in the tournament. And so we'll see how that one goes. And I predict North Carolina will be the next national champion.
I concur with that.
You concur with
Whoever
that?
they play, whether it's Gonzaga or North Carolina, I think they beat South Carolina. They beat them.
Yeah. The only thing about the North Carolina-South Carolina matchup, that would be really, really interesting. I don't want to see it. I think it'll happen. I would like Pacific Northwest team to be there, but
yeah, I'd like to see at least one of each.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be Gonzaga. But I can't. I'm gonna stop talking about Gonzaga. Gonzaga's very good. Maybe I should have picked Gonzaga. But I told you last week that they got everything you want in the team.
Right.
And I heard somebody say that during the game this week. I don't know if it was Clark Kellogg. I think it was Clark Kellogg. Say the exact same words that they got everything
well,
you
he
want.
listens to the show.
They got everything you want in the team. So we'll see what they'll do. What's going down in the town?
Well, you got the Mariners spring training. You got the coming up. The season's starting next week.
3 more minor league games.
Yeah.
And then the season
and they have the
starts.
best record in the Cactus League.
Yeah.
So they're doing pretty well.
Michael Porter Jr. is out of here.
No surprise.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He went back to Missouri.
He went home. I'm not mad at him because he went with Daddy.
I'm not mad either. Thank you for coming to Seattle, Michael Porter Jr. I know you didn't want to be here in the first place, but you have to admit, Michael Porter Jr., that Seattle was good to you.
Right.
It was really good to you. You became the best player in the nation on the best team in the nation with the Coach of the Year. You can't do no better than that.
Sure can.
Doubt that would have happened in Columbia, Missouri.
No.
So Seattle
happening at Tulsa.
has been very good to you. Last week he had a press conference at his house on the lake, getting all of his accolades. And so, yeah, Michael Porter Jr., thanks for coming, and we'll holler at you. We'll look for you on TV. Hope you have a good college career. Cameron Dollar returns to Washington to coach with Mike Hopkins.
Yeah, and along with Will Conroy, so there's a Northwest connection there. That's good for Hopkins to do that. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, he wanted Jason Taylor,
Jason Hart.
Jason Hart.
But Hart
from USC.
Yeah, he renewed with USC, another 2-year extension. They didn't want to lose him, so that tells you something.
Yeah, the only thing I can say from that is Jason Hart, an ex-player of his.
Right, at
Syracuse.
But Hart is from L.A. He's a West Coast guy.
Yeah, but my thought is more on the X's and O's side.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me, do not drink any more tea while I'm doing a broadcast. That might be it. I don't know. I'm struggling today. The thing is, one of the pitfalls that Lorenzo had was he, at the end of his career, when he brought in all these different coaches, didn't have anybody to help teach his system.
Right.
And so Jason Hart was supposed to come and help Mike Hopkins teach his system.
Yes.
And so now he doesn't have that guy.
No.
And so that's, to me, a big thing.
It is.
And so I have
it's
to
huge.
Yeah, I have to look and see how that works out, or if Mike Hopkins will adopt Cameron Dollar, his defensive system.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Dollar is a good defensive teacher.
Yes. He was a good defensive player for himself.
Yeah, he's a really arguably good to great defensive teacher. And so, and I heard Hopkins in his press conference talk about he wanted to press and trap and whatever. Dollar teaches that well. And
gotta have the players to do it too, though.
Yeah, gotta have the players to do it. But even if you have the players gotta know what they're doing.
Right.
And so they gotta be able to get the players, and they gotta be able to teach it. And so if you don't have the players, then you become like Seattle U, right?
Mediocre.
Mediocre.
And that's not going to fly here. Mediocre
right.
can't fly in a big program like UW.
Ken Bone is projected as being talked about as the next Seattle U coach, ex-Washington State coach, Seattle Pacific.
I wish Seattle would kind of go out the box a little bit and go somewhere else to look for a coach. I mean, I don't have a problem with Ken Bone. I like him, but I don't know. He's just a retread, if you ask me.
Shout out to the Lady Huskies. Lost to Mississippi State in the Sweet 16 for making it to the Sweet 16. That was a big feat for them this year. Shout out to Kelsey Plum.
Broke another record, NCAA scoring record for the tournament.
Yeah, and I have to give her a lot of props. In the Mississippi State game, I watched that game, and she was really, really trying hard. I thought she was trying too hard and didn't really let the game come to her. Too hard to get them over that hump. And it just didn't pan out. But they brought a lot of excitement to women's basketball in the city of Seattle.
They did.
The regionals were held here.
Right.
And they had good crowds for that. And so it was just great to see women's basketball and the fantastic exploits of Kelsey Plum. And best wishes to Kelsey as she goes on and tries to make her mark in the WNBA.
And I think she will.
Yeah, I think she will too. She's scored a lot of points in college and is the most prolific college women's basketball player. On behalf of Renault Pepe Bean, I'm Graham DeLemerson. Thank you for listening to Lidline Sports. You can listen to Lidline Sports on Facebook, YouTube, and find us on Twitter at Lidline Sports. Join us again next week for more great sports talk radio. We struggled through it today, but I think it was still great on Lidline Sports.
Yes.
Sports as we see it from just below our lids. We made it through that one. Some days it's a struggle.
Yeah.
But we made it.